The next tool we're going to talk about is the square tool. When we click on the square tool, the modifier appears, allowing you to type in a width and a height as well as a rotation. One word of advice for using the square tool is turn your constraints to none. The constraints will sometimes prevent you from drawing a freehand square, although it will have no bearing on a square once you've inserted a width and a height. And the rotation must be determined by what angle you set here. Without setting a rotation angle, it will basically draw a square that's vertical and horizontal on your screen. So the first thing you do before you draw your square is choose the layer that you want to draw it on. I'm going to choose the deck layer. To insert a square, all you do is left click once on your screen, make sure constraints is off when you're doing it freehand like this. I'm not putting in a width or height at this point. And move your mouse away, and it's going to create a square or rectangle based on the position of your crosshairs. And to finish it, all you do is left click and it draws you a square. Because it can only insert or do two steps, basically create two diagonal corners diagonal to each other, those are the only two things you can do with a square. There's only two left clicks. There's no right click. There's no need to finish it because you're already done by the time you've done or made your second left click. I can insert a width and a height, so I can make it a 10-foot by 15-foot square or rectangle, and it's going to draw a 10-foot by 15-foot rectangle. I can change the rotation, make it 45 degrees, and it's going to give me a 45-degree angle that I can sort of spin it around at whichever way I like. So I can set the angle that way. So that's squares, very simple, easy to insert, two left clicks, that's all there is to it. The circle tool is also a very simple tool to use. The modifier allows you to choose a radius or a diameter or a length, depending on what you're trying to do with it. I can also draw freehand. I'm going to draw using the building layer this time, and I'm going to start just by placing my center point of my circle. I can place it anywhere that I like. I can turn inference on and place it off the corner of this square, for example, and it will attach the center of that circle on that corner of that square. I can basically build my circle by pulling my mouse away from the center of it to make it as big or as small as I wish it to be. And it's another second left click, so it's two left clicks just like the square, and it will draw your circle. I can then also insert a diameter or a radius. It will fill in the other two automatically. So say for instance I wanted to do a 10-foot diameter circle. It fills in the radius and the length automatically. When I move my mouse away from that, you'll see that I already have a circle on my crosshair. That's because it knows the diameter already, so it's already drawing it temporarily for you, waiting for you to place it. So I can then place it. It's one left click and it will draw that 10-foot circle. Dynaescape's arc tool is also very simple to use. The arc tool opens up a modifier which allows us to enter a radius or a diameter. Say for example I wanted to draw an arc between these 2 points here, these two lines. I would obviously need to know what kind of diameter I wanted for that arc. For example, I'm going to put in a diameter of say 10 feet. Now to insert this arc, all I need to do is select the two endpoints. It'll automatically give me the radius, but I need to know which direction that I want to go. If I start drawing from this direction and going across here, it'll draw me an arc that basically goes up like that. That's what I wanted. If I started here and went the other direction, it would draw an arc in the other direction. So I can choose which way the arc goes by choosing the starting point and going in the opposite direction if the first direction wasn't correct. So I could, in effect, draw an arc on this end going the other way, and it'll give me a radius there as well. So I can change my radius, make it any radius that I wish, and draw arcs like that on my drawing. Basically it's two left clicks. All I'm doing is left clicking once to start my first endpoint, left clicking again to start my other endpoint. There's no right clicking at the end of this one. There's only two options for it, is the two endpoints, because the radius has already been determined by my modifier here.